So here we are, March 26th on a Thursday. It is a nice, cold spring day. The sun is shining, and we're going to take a walk around the property to see everything that's beginning to bloom. I thought this might be a nice thing to do since we're going through a challenging time in our lives, this pandemic that we are going through. And being in the garden is a wonderful, wonderful way of handling a little bit of good therapy at this time. So here we go. We're in the front of the house, and now we're going to take a little walk around the side. Oh, look at the these little blue muscari, I think they're called, just starting to come up. One of the first signs of spring. And now we're walking on the side of the house, and the little miniature daffodils are welcoming us. I planted these so many years ago, and it really is it's quite lovely. I planted them going all along the side here. A nice welcome for the spring. And so here we go. We see a little, look at this periwinkle blooming. Periwinkle is always beautiful when it just begins. And we are going toward the back of the house, into the backyard, and we see one of the beautiful magnolias on a very clear, bright, sunny day. And when I look to the left, all the rains we've had actually made the cherry tree start to bloom. Now we are entering the backyard through a path that Peter created many years ago, because the plants kept growing closer and closer together and the grass stopped growing at the side of the house. So we thought it might be nice to create a path and eliminate the lawn, and that's what we did. So over here in the morning, you have this beautiful light. It's an early morning light. It's around 10:30 now, actually. And it does a lot. The morning light is very different from later in the day. And over here to the right, I see some Lenten roses. That's one of the first early signs of spring. Oh, I remember a time when I just kept trying to find as many varieties as I could. And now they are really starting to show how beautiful they are. It's taken a number of years. But sometimes everything needs patience, you know. And here along this side, I continued planting them. Look how pretty this one is. This really looks like roses. It's called cotton candy. Isn't that beautiful? It does look like cotton candy in a way. And along the grass, you see, it looks like little snowflakes, but it's actually the petals from the magnolias. We have a lot of magnolias in bloom at this time. It's such an intense color against the sky. And here the clematises are just beginning to send out foliage. And this was a new Lenten rose that I bought last year. I bought actually 4 of them because I felt they really do look like little roses. It's such a pretty one. I'm going to take a little walk around the backyard and see what's coming up. over here, this little path leads. It's like a little rhododendron walk, but the rhododendrons in this area aren't up yet. But the gigantic magnolia, which we never expected to be so large, is in its glory now. I'll take a little peek at the backyard. Right. And under the magnolia, I had planted like hundreds and hundreds of bulbs, and now it really is forming. They've really looked like they've naturalized, and they look so sweet, and they've actually jumped everywhere in this area, so maybe the little birds are starting to carry them. You know how little birds are. And over here, it's amazing, from a winter where there is just, you know, a brown, mulchy looking area, suddenly everything is starting to grow. We've just repaired a lot of bricks on the patio that have burst, so now the patio's in good shape. And in this area underneath the Kusa, I had made a pentagon many years ago that the birds use as a little bird bath. And now last week we created a little border around it, and primroses should start to grow very shortly. The foliage is all up now. Let's see, the rest of the yard is very quiet. Another row of daffodils in bloom. It's always nice. It's just very magical when everything starts to grow. And we're coming along to see Kim's house. Soon the clematis. The clematis has like new growth on it, but soon the flowers will start to grow. It's not long now. And in her little, in Kim's little house, there's a little garden to the right, and rhubarb is starting to come up. Kim's little playhouse, right? It's nice to take a 360-degree turn so you get a real feel for the garden. In this area, usually we have the begonias coming up this little path on both sides. We'll be putting those out in probably another month or so. Now we'll take a walk down many of the paths that we have created through the years. Here is a little stop. Bench. We can take a rest for the day after we've worked so hard. And that's our composting area all the way in the back. And Peter filled up that entire area with fresh compost he had just gotten like about 2 weeks ago from the recycling place. And he filled all our areas with it. And now the bulbs have come up through it. So it was lucky we had the foresight to do it very early, because now the recycling center is closed because of the pandemic. So why don't we walk down another path going back toward the house. And in this area we did a lot of work of transplanting plants that needed a better location, so we did that a few days ago, and that was a lot of work, but at least it's done. And here we could see that the hostas are starting to grow, okay? The first little sign of life, and the hydrangeas are putting up nice buds. And And over here we're walking toward our greenhouse area where Peter is going to be filling the greenhouse with tons and tons of his beautiful geraniums. And here are more little blue bulbs with the daffodils, and the Chinese chives are growing. Here's Peter's nice vegetable garden, which just has poppies growing in it that are just growing wild, and those are wonderful. The whole garden is hoed, all ready to go. Peter just planted his tomato seeds in the basement and they've come up already. Alright. Oh, it looks like Peter just already put up his hanging geranium baskets. Yay! Yay. Now over here on the path going back to our patio, we see some bloodroot that if it was a little bit warmer, they would start to open. But we had dug those a long, long time ago, maybe 30 years ago, from the Shenandoah Valley area. And over here, it looks like this is a Virginia, like a bluebells plant that's just starting to make the teeny weeny flowers from it. And the tree peonies are showing signs of growth, and the one on the patio also. So we're getting there. Springtime gives us such pleasure, even at a distressful time like this. Here's one of our miniature rhododendrons. And so that's what our backyard and property look like now.